It has been a massive week in the world of Microsoft Flight Simulator with the new world update landing this week, a development Q&A with all the insights of the future of the flight sim, and also some brand new Xbox news. Don't worry, we've got you covered with all your Microsoft Flight Simulator development news. It is a huge video, so get ready. This video starts now. Welcome to another Microsoft Flight Simulator update video. This is where we bring you all the news and updates on the development of this new flight sim. So if you're lazy like me and you don't want to troll the internet for all the flight sim news, this video is for you. So please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when our next video goes live. Let's jump into the highlights of World Update 4. World Update 4 has arrived and it was released on April the 13th, a couple of days before it was intended as far as we are led to believe. Version 1.15.7.0, which was the France and the Benelux countries. This is a free update and it also includes 100 points of interest or more, 3 handcrafted airports, Nice, Rotterdam, and I'll probably mess this up, is Megève. Photogrammic scenery cities is Paris and Amsterdam, and visual improvements to additional 100 airports. Landing challenge has been included, and also a bush trip over the Pyrenees and the Alps. Now with these updates we also do see some bug fixes and sim updates, and some of those highlights are the water masking has been updated for these new locations. They've also fixed the reduction in the tree draw distance. So this issue was caused with the last update when they tried to fix the tree size. Now it should be all resolved by now. We've got some new liveries. There was an S7 Airbus livery added, and also a KLM Boeing 787 livery added, which is nice. Other things is the honeycomb device had 10 degrees of heading issue is now been fixed, and also there was a bunch of updates for the SDK, more around documentation than anything else. And one of the things it did include was there was a special thing about Xbox Series X and S, and documents around the area of how developers can adapt their products to work on the Xbox platform, which was really interesting. This update may be causing some stutters. I recommend checking out some of the Windows settings that they may have been changed with this update. That tends to happen with these large updates. Also, I'll leave a link in the video that was about a video that helped me with their studies in past updates. So if you want that to have a look at, please check it out. Moving on to this month's development Q&A. This is where we normally get a lot of the insights of what's happening in the short term of the flight sim. And starting off, we had a couple of plane or aircraft announcements from Microsoft themselves. The first one being the Top Rudder Just 103 Solo. This is an ultralight aircraft and it's been released by Asobo or Microsoft themselves. It will be available on the 27th of April. It's built by the team, and it's to really show off VR features and also to have a look at the ground. It's probably a good aircraft to sort of look at world updates and that sort of thing. A new type aircraft featuring a clutch and a 2-stroke engine. So below 2,000 revs, the prop actually stops, and when you increase it above 2,000 revs, the prop kicks back in, which is the first time it's been included an aircraft like this in this sim. It is payware, so it's not free. Apparently the cost for the licensings and things like that, so it's going to be a cost of around about $9.95 or $9.99. I don't know what currency they set that in, but we should see it in the marketplace on the 27th. The second aircraft announcement from the Asobo team was a ATR 42600 or 72600. The Asobo team have teamed up with some of the developers who helped create the CRJ, and they're working on this project together. Also, ATR themselves will be playing a big role in this project, so hopefully we should see a very detailed aircraft produced. We're not expecting to see the ATR until 2022, so I'd say this is really at the start of things, and of course we will keep you informed of all the development of the ATR. This was a little bit of a surprise for me because I thought if they were going to do any aircraft, it would be helicopters first, but hey, we can't complain. We're getting some more aircraft to the sim. Let us know in the comments below, what do you think about Asobo creating more aircraft, and are you going to plan on picking up the new ultralight from the Asobo team that enters the sim in a couple of weeks? Let us know. We'd love to hear your comments. Sim Update 4 was discussed in the Q&A, and what they talked about is a bunch of improvements in turboprops. That's really getting a big going over. The updates will be delivered over a few updates, but we will see some improvements about prop drag, prop feathering, and improved RPM and fuel consumptions when it comes to turbos in Sim Update 4. Asobo is going back to the drawing board on some of the aircraft by going to real-world aircraft, taking them flying and things, and referencing them and fine-tuning them with aerodynamics and flight characteristics, including secondary flight controls and all that sort of stuff. So it feels more realistic. We should see this improvements in 7 aircrafts across the board in the next sim update, which includes all 3 of the turboprops, both Cessna 152s and also both Cessna 172s. So, and of course they said there's going to be more aircraft to come. Optimization was a big discussion point. We should see more improvements in performance when it comes to Sim Update 4. Glass cockpits will see an improvement in optimization, and we'll see improvements to the memory usage, the GPU and the CPU consumption. More real-time air traffic will be, and better behavior is going to be looked at, and new landing effects, but it wasn't mentioned exactly what. ATC improvements around approaches, and also weather radar changes or improvements, which would be something that the CRJ fans would like to see. World Update 5 did get a mention in the Q&A. Not too much detail, but they did let us know all the big stuff, which is where it's going to be. It's going to be in the Nordic region, which is countries of Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland, and Iceland are all going to get an overhaul. Scheduled to be sometime in June. Jorg, the head of Flight Sim, said it could be a little bit earlier, but they're saying June, and they haven't put a real date on it yet. Photographic city sceneries, they haven't mentioned which cities it's going to be, but they did let us know the handcrafted airports, and they're going to be EKRN, EISS, ENSB, ESSA, and EFVA. So that's all the information we have on World Update 5. I guess time will tell. We'll get a little bit more. We did get some other quick comments made in the Q&A around Xbox and some of the other features. So these are the highlights we saw on that. The team have been putting a big focus on loading times of the development of Xbox, and also improving some stutters. They are looking for 4 to 5 frames. It's pretty much all they need to do. Working on improving the controllers and how they interact with a cockpit, and easy to use for Xbox. So they did mention that, you know, Xbox users can plug a keyboard into Xbox, but they're trying to make it so it's all user friendly, even by using a controller. All the big issues are behind them now when it comes to the Xbox development, and they're just focusing on polishing the sim for the Xbox release, and the port across from PC to Xbox is pretty much nearly complete. They're just focusing on sim controls and just making the thing all friendly. Confirmation has been given that an Xbox beta will happen. No date given, just that the word has been given basically, and no release date. They can't give us a release date on the beta because that will give away the date of when it's going to be released on Xbox, but they said summer is coming very, very soon. Other non-Xbox details were discussed. They discussed water physics. Lakes, rivers, waterfalls were asked when we will see an improvement or actually implemented properly into the sim, and they mentioned it shouldn't be too far away. They did say soon and a little giggle, but then soon was used quite a lot during the Q&A. They're not really giving any dates out on anything. Also, a weather radar improvement, which we did mention before, will be in Sim Update 4. That pretty much just sums up all the juicy stuff when it comes to this month's development Q&A. Let's jump into this week's development update. The Microsoft Flight Simulator team did start off this week's development update, stating and mentioning there is a pending hotfix on the way. It's being prepared now, but there's no date given. They're working hard and trying to get this over above the line and ready to go. The issues that we'll be addressing in the hotfix is the WASM standalone modules in some of the add-ons are no longer working. Cockpit screens can be unresponsive in the RTC is skipped. In addition, the team is also aware the issues that basically popped up last last week around logbooks are losing their hours, and the team is looking at it, but they don't have anything to report at this stage. So I think they know what's causing it, but I think one thing is I don't think they know how to get the data back, and that's really important for people that have put hundreds or thousands of hours into their logbooks. It's pretty important. Moving on to this week's feedback and a wishlist snapshot, which was pretty interesting. We did get a new wishlist and feedback snapshot this week, and also a lot of the information I'm talking about has come from the development Q&A, but I thought it was worth waiting while till we got the new update. Now, the first thing is that the lists are going to be expanded from next week. They're going to go to the top 48 instead of 24. Jorg, the head of Flight Sim, mentioned that the lower 24 items on the list do get addressed, and they even get fixed and implemented, but most of the time it's not seen because they're a little bit lower on the list. Starting off with the bug list first, one of the big things that was talked about was optimization. The team mentioned that they are seeing a 3x improvement on memory usage, and this is due to the work that's been carried out on Xbox. As we mentioned in the video earlier before, we should see some improvements come across in Sim Update 4, and there'll be more to come. The team did mention that the improvements that they're seeing will not come as a cost to visual degradation of the visuals. In fact, it's going to be the opposite. They're going to be able to put those slider scales up. Their aim is to have scales or sliding scales that go past ultra on the graphics, which is really cool. Night lighting is being worked on for long distances. They've done all the updates for night lighting for short distances or close up, but now they're working on the long distance. No change in release date yet. Garmin's are being worked on at the moment by the team at Working Title. We should see some improvements over the next 9 months, which is basically the next 3 sim updates. It's a work in progress. Moving on to the wish list. Fly-by-wire negotiations are still going on and in progression, and they do see that this is on the number 1 on the list, so they're working really hard to get it over the line. Replay function was mentioned. It's still in the design phase. Originally, the team mentioned it was going to be something simple, but now it looks like it's going to be a little bit more than that, and I wouldn't expect to see this until at least Sim Update 6 or more, in my opinion. Shared cockpit was discussed as well, and they said it will have some code that is linked to the replay function, because obviously when you're replaying with shared cockpit, it's sort of going to come together, which makes sense to me, and we're not going to expect that to see shared cockpit until a replay system is released. Moving on to this week's third party update. I do apologize. Normally we include all the announcements and releases for all the third party products, but it was going to be a long video, but we will jump back on that bad wagon as of next week. So as of April the 4th, we've seen 20 more airports added to the sim, no new aircraft, 4 new sceneries, and no emissions. A bunch of new updates will be put on the marketplace this week, but at the time of recording this video, there wasn't anything there. If you enjoyed this video and we saved you some time and not trolling the internet for all your Microsoft Flight Simulator 20 news, please make sure you hit that like button and also the subscribe button so you know when our next video goes live. Remember to let us know in the comments, are you planning on picking up the new ultralight from the Cyber team that is going to be released in a couple of weeks? Let us know. Also, we're going to leave you with a couple of awesome other videos that we've had here of late, so why don't you check those on out, and I will see you over there.